What's up, you guys? It's VDX. Bandai Namco has finally broken their silence after announcing the emergency patch. We're going to read through their statement today, but first, I want to cover my predictions for where I think this emergency patch is going to go. If you want to see my raw reaction to us reading through this the first time, it'll be on my second channel, VDX Unhinged. Some people have flamed that channel for saying, like, it's stealing content. It's my other channel, so it's okay. Anyways, my prediction was that the emergency Tekken patch... Well, first, I think the emergency Tekken patch has to do more than just fix Make Some Noise, Paul's forward 1+2, and the throw chip, okay? I think they have to remove the huge frame advantage, the homing moves, and the moves that cover the weaknesses of specific characters, what I call the weakness removal moves, okay? Trust is at an all-time low right now because of what they said about the defensive direction of the game and then releasing this extremely offensive patch. I'm a bit pessimistic, though. I said, however, what I expect will happen is 2-1 clap will remain the same but be interruptible. Paul will get the bug fixed, and some other bugs will be fixed, like Anna's move copying bug. I think the core design will remain unchanged and people will continue to be angry, but I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. Where do I base these claims? This is a tweet from the Tekken account where they this tweet came out when April 3rd. Okay, so 11 days ago they acknowledged that they needed to patch these things, but I was concerned by the phrasing. They talked about the unintended follow-up on Paul's forward 1+2, which makes sense, but then they talked about Jack's Make Some Noise, saying that the third hit is uninterruptible, which means by design it was supposed to be interruptible, but no statement about the fact that it's a +8 homing chip damage mid. So I'm pessimistic. I hope to be proven wrong, but based on their statements and based on the direction of the team, my best belief is that it's going to take a while. It's going to take more than this emergency patch. It's going to take multiple patches into the future. Now, let's read their statement. If you just want the TLDR, you can skip to the timestamp below where I'll just go through the notes really quickly, but I'm going to read their statement and then we'll talk about it. Balance adjustment policy for version 2.0.02. The development team acknowledges that following the Season 2 update, the overall game balance has shifted too heavily toward offense. We sincerely apologize that the actual balance changes did not align with the development intentions and policy previously communicated to players. They're talking about that EVO interview where they said it was going to be a defensive patch. We deeply regret not being able to address the improvements and adjustments that the community had hoped for. Moving forward, we are committed to distinguishing between issues that can be addressed quickly and issues that require more time and community feedback for proper review. We will implement a step-by-step update process to improve the game experience. In this upcoming update, we will fix known issues and begin a balance review based on the following policy. The patch notes for version 2.02 are scheduled to be released shortly before the update around 10:30 a.m. on Thursday, April 17th. So if you look at the notes right below here, for West Coast US Pacific time, that will be 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday when the patch notes will come out. Point number 1. In light of the current damage environment trending toward inflation, driven by the offense-heavy game balance and increased aerial combo damage, the maximum health value will be increased. This adjustment is intended to ease situations where matches are too easily decided by one-sided momentum. I think this change is not good. This is a direct nerf to poking unless poke damage increases. This is a band-aid fix for the long combos, the insane chip damage, the increased combo damage that the rest of the cast has. It's a good acknowledgement of the offensive problems, but it's a big nerf to poking. Then again, we know that the current iteration of Tekken, the current philosophy of the team, doesn't like poking, right? They've nerfed Deviljin's poking. They focus more on like string offense and big moves. So this shouldn't be that surprising, but I'm disappointed by the blanket increase to health rather than adjusting combo damage specifically or combo length. Combos, even if they're fun to do for the pilot, combos have gotten so long that many people, even beginners to pros, have to deal with the problem of staying focused on the match while you are in a 15 to 20 minute cutscene. It's not even a quick time event where you can like hit a button at the right time to escape or like reduce damage. It's a cutscene. So I think for the flow of the game, a 15 to 20 second combo, which is like a third of the round, is too much. And they should have just looked at that instead of just increasing health. Number 2, gradual adjustments to overly high reward moves. This update addresses the overall inflation of attack strength and combo damage by implementing adjustments that can be done quickly to moves that provide excessive reward. We recognize that this is a game-wide issue rather than a problem limited to specific characters, and we plan to continue reviewing and tuning these aspects progressively. That's good that they acknowledge it's game-wide and not specific characters. This is widespread and rampant. Examples of adjustments included in the update: balance adjustments to high-performance moves that can repeatedly create advantageous situations and lead to one-sided gameplay. You're talking about like Jhin doing the running move into stance over and over, Leo doing running move into stance. That gameplay loop is really toxic, and it's just a lot of guessing to deal with. I'm glad they're acknowledging that. They're also doing adjustments to moves with disproportionately high reward compared to their risk, ensuring fairer risk-reward balance. We'll have to see the specific numbers. Obviously, this is a good thing if the lows are more risky, even if the mids just aren't giving insane plus frames. But we'll have to see details. Number 3, rebalancing the offensive and defensive aspects of the heat system. Currently, the benefits gained by the attacking player through the heat system are considered too great. The following adjustments have been made. Revised damage scaling when using heat dash to suppress combo damage inflation. Okay, so if you do a heat dash to launch, we can assume damage is going down, which is a good thing. Adjusted frame advantage on hit for heat engagers, maintaining benefits for the attacker while allowing the defender more opportunities to respond. Love this change. They've alluded to it in the past, but we need to see the numbers. Their idea of allowing the defender more opportunities to respond may be out of touch with what is reasonable, right? So if it's +5, that's very different from, say, like +11, right? And we've seen a lot of +11, +19, +31, where there's very unreasonable amounts of counterplay, right? Heat engagers are currently +17 on hit. I would like to see them probably around +8, +11 at the most, but even then +11 is a lot. So again, we'll have to see what they decide to go for. Additionally, adjustments have been made to chip damage as follows. Reduced additional chip damage during heat. Change the system so that the moves which already deal chip damage do not receive extra chip damage while in heat state. Future updates will also include adjustments to the amount of chip damage dealt by individual moves. Okay, so they've talked about this before, reducing chip damage across the board. I think this is something that's a character-specific issue. You talk about Kuma running 1+2, the chip damage on that is egregious. I think, on a generic level, I don't really perceive chip damage in the heat state as an issue. To me, it feels character-specific. I feel like this is in the wrong direction. Obviously, reducing chip damage in general is better for like the blocking and movement style of Tekken. But I don't think it's a blanket issue so much as it is characters with specific moves and tools. So that's my opinion. Okay, future balance adjustments. In the next update planned for mid-May, adjustments will include reducing air combo damage and reevaluating the performance of Heat Burst. Again, I would like to see them reduce air combo length, and by consequence also reduce damage. We don't need 3 strong aerial tailspins and a Heat Burst that freezes the screen and zooms in, and then Lydia hits you with an attack throw, strikes a pose, and wall splats you again. I think combos can be snappier, people can get back to the gameplay faster, and there's still room for individual player expression in combos. That's just a matter of helping give variety to the combos. If you have a wall carry combo, an Okazemi combo, and a damage combo, you'll get more variety, more intrigue, and more decision making. And it doesn't have to take forever. And evaluating the performance of Heat Burst is good. That Heat Burst is very, very strong and has been the entire lifespan of Tekken 8. But it's already been made more linear. I hope they continue to make it more linear. Some characters like Brian and Dragunov have really good tracking on their Heat Bursts. Additionally, we will continue to review issues that could not be addressed in this update, such as moves that consistently create advantageous situations leading to one-sided matches. That's good. Too many plus frame homing moves. And attacks with disproportionately high rewards relative to their risk. Also good. Moving forward, we remain committed to incorporating player feedback and will focus on resolving cases of overly dominant character performance and interactions that result in one-sided gameplay. And there are no patch notes. That's just their statement. So, if you jumped here for the summary by the timestamp, welcome back. Before we do that, I'm going to make you look at this, okay? This is my personal wish list for Season 2, okay? Maybe it's too small for you to see. Let me zoom in real close, okay? I'm going to open MS Paint. We're going to really look at this. I want you, who are here for the quick summary, to see that my suggestions do not get implemented in this game, okay? I have had so many hopes for how they would adjust the game, and none of these have come into play except maybe, save practice mode settings, okay? The rest of this stuff is fluff at the bottom. Don't worry about that, okay? I have been critical about Season 2's direction. I have directly asked for certain things, and all of the Season 2 design, all of the patch notes have gone in different directions, things that do not align with what I personally want. So I just needed to make that clear, that I have many personal desires for Tekken 8, and these are not necessarily, they're not even being regarded at all, okay? So let's leave it at that. Now I'll give you the summary. They're in the notes below. You could have been reading it the whole time and been ignoring what I'm saying. The release date for this patch, if you're in Pacific time, it's 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, April 16th. That is 2 days from the day this video will come out. They're increasing max health. I think this is bad for poking. I think it's a blanket fix for long and over-damaging combos. They need to reduce combo length instead, not just for the balance factor, but also for the gameplay factor. Literally 15 to 20 second cutscenes, that is not an exaggeration, okay? Combos take too long. Gradual adjustments to overly high reward moves. They're basically acknowledging that they can't change all of the overpowered moves they've added in one patch, so they're going to be going through gradually, patch by patch, to adjust high performance moves that repeatedly create advantageous situations and disproportionately high reward moves compared to their risk, okay? This is something that I was basically saying, that I feel like this emergency patch is not going to cover everything, and unless they continuously move in a good direction, people will be upset, and that's not a good thing. Number 3, they're rebalancing the offensive and defensive aspects of Heat. So Heat Dash will deal less damage. Heat Engagers will have adjusted frame advantage. Chip damage reduced again. And moves that already deal chip don't get extra chip during Heat, okay? So generally good changes. Again, I think this is a bit heavy-handed compared to looking at the specific character moves that are a problem. But this change is better than nothing, okay? Future balance adjustments, and that's pretty much it. That's all we're getting in the emergency patch. They acknowledge they'll have to keep adjusting combo damage and heat burst, and then continuously adjusting the moves that give too high of a reward. Okay, this is. Oh, I don't think they're going to do enough with one patch. Okay, but for example, just take a look at these situations. Okay, I'm gonna share a couple tweets here. They've been shown in previous videos, but I know a lot of people don't necessarily watch every video. You're busy. You got a lot going on. So let me just show you this. This is Leroy alternating between his plus frame mid out of sidestep and his plus frame high out of sidestep, both which go into stance, right? They both give plus frames into stance. This is very one-sided, one-dimensional gameplay, not a lot of interaction, okay? This is what I hope and I assume they're looking to address. Their idea behind these moves is that they're linear, so they're steppable or they're duckable. But the fact that they're plus frames and go into stance leads to these kinds of one-sided mind games. They're not even really mind games. They're just throwing moves at each other. The next thing I'll show you is the Jin Kazama situation, which you may be familiar with, where Jin can do his slash kick into stance, which can also dive kick into stance. The slash kick is a mid, the dive kick is a high. So yes, you can duck the dive kick, but the slash kick will wall splat you. So he's getting chip damage and repeated mix-up situations. And Brian does find the Rage Art at the very end, right? But look at how much gray health that is. Okay, Brian's UI got in the way. Look how much gray health that is. It's not, even if it's got weaknesses, even if there is counterplay, it's not interesting to deal with. And here is just a better example of how degenerate it can really get. Because if you do decide to try to duck, sorry, that's loud. If you do decide to duck at the wrong time, it's catastrophic. And he has so many plus frames, mashing isn't even an option. And here, this isn't a plug. Nino just ends the replay because you can tell he's already dead. Last thing I want to talk about is their last statement. They talk about moving forward, we remain committed to incorporating player feedback and will focus on resolving cases of overly dominant character performance and interactions that result in one-sided gameplay. And for me personally, my priority is reducing the interactions that result in one-sided gameplay. Okay? I come from Super Smash Bros. Melee, where there are very few dominant characters, right? You see a lot of the same matchups over and over. Fox Falco, Fox Marth. But the interactions they have are very dynamic. The gameplay is very interactive between both characters. You could see the same matchup over and over again, and you could see something new depending on the players, their styles, their game plans, what region they come from. That's the Tekken I really crave. So if even for a bit we get some stale meta where we see the same top 5 characters. As long as the gameplay is deep and interactive, I'm personally okay with that, okay? I know that's going to be a divisive take, that some people prefer to see more character diversity, but for me, I don't like artificial character diversity. I don't like that we see Yoshimitsu more now because Yoshimitsu is strong. I liked when we saw Yoshimitsu, Xiaoyu, and Zafina players because it was a really unique character to pilot that was hard to use. And the character specialist would bring out really cool techniques, really cool strategies. So, me personally, I'm really hoping they lean into reducing one-sided gameplay, and they're taking some steps, but again, the trust is really low. That's what I said in my tweet, and I hope that the patches start to go in a better direction. For what it's worth, they say they're listening, but they also said they were listening before. So we'll have to see what the notes say. We'll have to see what direction the game literally takes, and unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a while because I don't think everything will be fixed in one patch. I wish I had better news to bring, but that's my honest take. If you've enjoyed my videos this far, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Thanks so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.